ShredMentor Challenge of the day number 181. Here's how it goes. Alright, so we're basically just doing eighth notes, but we're at 200 beats per minute, so it still kind of moves along rather quickly. The tricky part here is, even though we're in 4/4, we're actually not starting on the downbeat for once. I think it's really important to not always start everything on the downbeat because it tends to be pretty predictable and you lose out on a lot of other rhythmic feels that would be a lot more interesting, and you wouldn't discover them if you just start everything right on beat one of everything all the time, especially if something else is already playing, like a drum beat or the rest of the band or whatever else you're playing along to. If there's already something happening on beat one, you don't necessarily have to play on beat one too. Obviously, a lot of the time you do, but there's a lot of instances where you probably should not. All right, and this is one of those examples. Okay, so we're actually starting on the and of beat 4, and even on the 4 count in. Okay, so as you hear that 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm actually counting the eighth notes of that. Those are the quarter notes, even though again we're at 200 beats per minute, so it kind of goes along a little bit fast. But in my head, I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm looking for that and right after 4. So I'm sliding into the third of the G minor scale right on that half beat early before the next measure starts. So the counting is actually 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're even ending a half beat before the final, I guess the final measure would have started. So we don't even get into that last measure really. The last measure is fully containing that last phrase. So each phrase is actually a 7-beat phrase following every held out note. If we kind of isolate that first note right there, it's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 each time. All right, and we're just kind of moving through the G harmonic minor scale, descending, but I'm coming back up a third after I play this whole pattern. So basically, after the first one, it's basically the notes here the scale degrees, I should say, are 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 7, 6. All right, so I'm jumping up right before I hit the long note on this. I'm actually jumping up from the 5 to the 7, and then holding the 6, and then I kind of proceed back down the same way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, hold 2. Now I descend from there. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, hold that. 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 2, and finish on the root note. All right, so the places within 3 notes per string, even though it's a 3-note per string scale, the places where those held out notes occur keeps kind of changing. It's not always going to be the high note or the middle note or the low note out of the 3, and sometimes it might skip a string altogether. It's really about fulfilling the rhythmic pattern and going a certain number of notes in the scale to still kind of fulfill the sequence in this case. Okay, so but that's a big example of how it can be a lot more interesting within the rhythmic context when it's actually not starting on the actual downbeat of the measure. All right, so one more time all the way through, a little more slowly than the first time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. All right, you give it a try, and I'll see you again tomorrow.